Hey everyone, today's November 6th and today's Friday, and today we're going to go ahead and look at one more time how to fill out your PDSA tracker. So by the end of today, you should have the data entered for the four formatives that we took, as well as the summative that you took. Okay, so there's 5 things you should have filled out by the end of the day. And I'm going to try and go through these directions as quick as I can, but I can only move so fast, okay? So you need to be sure you watch this video until the end. You need to answer the question at the end because this is an assignment, okay? Watching this video and answering that question, then you need to go in and you need to complete your PDSA tracker, okay? So you will notice I changed something, and this is to help you. I listed all your formatives here and your summative, and I said what standard it focused on. You have to know what standard each formative focused on to fill out your PDSA tracker. Okay, so right here, I can see that the formative 1 focused on standard RI 8.2. And just as a little reminder, I put in here that the standard looked at the central idea and the article was about Michael Jordan, okay? But anyway, so now that I know that information, I'm going to open up my PDSA tracker. And the very bottom here, at the very bottom, you see different tabs. Okay, the very first tab says instructions, and this is literally where you can find the instructions typed out in case you forgot what you put in each column. Okay, the rest of the tabs here are have standards listed on them. Okay, so the next tab says RI 8.2, that's one standard. The next one says RL 8.2, that's another standard. Okay, so you need to match up the standard that's written on the tab with the standard that your formative focused on. And that's where you're going to put the data for this formative. So if formative 1 looks at RI 8.2, then I'm going to find the tab here that says RI 8.2, and that's where I'm putting the data. For your second formative, it looks at RI 8.6. So I need to go to my PDSA tracker and find the standard RI 8.6, which is the third one here. I'm going to click on that tab, and that's where I'm going to enter my information. The same thing with formative 4. That one's over RL 8.2. So when I go back to my PDSA tracker, I find the tab that says RL 8.2. Click on that one, and that's where I enter my information. So as you can see, I've already entered 3 different formatives here. I'm a little behind because I should have my 4th one entered as well, but I didn't do it, so I need to get caught up, and I also need to enter my summative information. Now, let's go ahead and stay on this first tab here, okay? You will see the first section here, the first huge rectangle. This is where I put all my scores for formative exams. Okay, in the bottom big rectangle, this is where I put all my scores for the summative exams. And that is only for this standard that's on this tab. Okay, but it looks the same for each tab for the different standards. Okay, so how do I know which one to put in which one? Well, when we're looking in column B, we can see that this says data formative in yellow. And then if you go a little bit down, we see that says data summative. So that's how you know which rectangle to put what kind of exam, okay? So anyway, in the first column, you need to put the date of the exam. I want to warn you, if you put 10/2 and you hit enter, sometimes it'll change it to 10/22 if you have a different date where I didn't put the O in front of the 2. So what I would recommend doing is I would put 10/02. Okay, so that's how you know it'll stay saying the second, and it won't like automatically change it to like the 28th or something like that. Okay, if you have, because sometimes it tries to think for you and it'll fill in that last number, even though you don't want that last number to be filled in, okay? But anyway, so the second column here is what score you get. So what score did you get for your formative or summative exam? The orange box you will not fill out unless you have retaken the entire exam. I'm not talking about revising. I'm talking about if you retake the exam, you're going to put your new score here. Otherwise, just leave it blank or put NA. N/A, that means not applicable, okay? But you can leave it blank if you prefer. It's up to you. Now, if you do revise your exam, I do not want you putting that score here for your score. This is your actual initial first score. I want you to put that score here, what you got the first time. Now, if you want to put in another one for the revision, you can, but you need to have a separate entry. Okay, I want your initial score before you revised it. Okay, all right. So in the fourth column here, the pink plus section, this is where you type what you did well on. And you can see here, I put that I did well finding the central idea. Okay, so that's where you put what you did well on. And you need to use your rubric to figure this stuff out, okay? The next column here for the delta, which is in purple, is what do you need to work on? Well, I realized that I need to follow directions, okay? Because in the first formative I took, I didn't. And so I didn't highlight enough. Like I only highlighted one or two things. I also didn't leave comments. I didn't do this and that, which if I didn't do comments and stuff, that would actually be a score of a 2. But anyway, so I'm just writing what I really need to work on. So when I do my reflection, I am thinking about why I did well on the test, why I didn't do well on it, and how I can improve. Okay, so what I put down here is that I rushed through the test and I didn't read directions. I need to slow down. And I know that's a problem with me because I messed up on so many different things on this exam. And it's because I didn't listen to directions. I didn't read the directions. Okay. And that was my biggest issue with this exam. So when I go to the next one here, RL 8. Well, let's look at RI 8.6. So so we looked at the one what I filled out for the first formative. When I'm looking here at the graded rubric for my second formative, I have to make sure I switch tabs, okay? Because this one looked at the formative RI 8.6. So when I go to my PDSA tracker, I had to make sure I switched my tab so that I was on the standard RI 8.6. Okay, so again, I put in the date of the formative, what my score was. I put in A because I didn't retake it. I said I did very well on identifying the author's perspective. For Delta, I said I did not spell check, and this brought down my grade. So I would have had a 4, but since I didn't spell check, it brought it down to a 3. For my reflection, I put that I did not look over my answers after I finished the exam, so I forgot to spell and grammar check. Next time, I will look over my exam. Okay, so I could have written about more things there, but I know that's what was really bothering me because it brought down my grade, a whole letter grade. Okay, so for the standard 3, when I look back here, I'm finding my graded rubric for formative 3. I can see this one was over RI 8.2 again. So I'm going to go to my PDSA tracker. I'm going to go back to the tab that says RI 8.2. And this is where I'm going to enter my information for my third formative. So I must have skipped this one somehow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pretend like I just now filled it out with you guys, okay? So let's make sure my date is correct. 10/21. Oops, so it auto-corrected for me. So I have to fix my date and change it to 10/21. Okay. So, again, I only got a 2 on this exam. I didn't fill out my orange column. And now I'm going to what I did good on. Now, I did well on finding the supporting detail. Okay, so how did I know that? Well, let's see here. When I open up this rubric, graded rubric, all I see here is that I got question 1 and question 2. I got question 1 wrong, and I can look back at my formative and see that that was a question over the central idea. Okay, I know that I got question 2 correct. And when I look at my formative, I can see that the question was over the supporting detail. So I actually had to open this exam to see which one, what the question 1 was about and what the question 2 was about. Okay. So when I'm filling out the PDSA tracker, though, I know that I did good on finding the supporting detail, but in the delta section on what I need to work on, I said I missed the central idea, missed key details, and I didn't spell check. So there's a whole bunch of things I didn't do too good on this time around, okay? So my reflection, I said, I know I need to look over my test when I'm done. I didn't do my assignment for the past week, and I think I lost a lot of opportunities to practice. So I know I didn't do any of my assignments this week, and I can actually tell that it affected my score. So, guys, I want you to be real with yourself. Be honest. What did you do or what didn't you do that caused you to get the grade that you got? Okay, and how can you improve? So what I'm going to add here is I need to be sure I do my work to practice for the exams. Okay, and that's my reflection. Okay, so the fourth formative when I'm looking is over RL 8.2. So again, I got to find the tab that says RL 8.2, and here it is here. Okay, and I filled this sucker out. So, and you can tell from my reflection again, I said I need to practice on theme. I should have completed my monsters and boogeyman activity. So I know that I didn't really even bother trying to prepare for this formative. And then I was like, oh gosh, we're having a formative today. I guess I should have done my assignments. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. Now, last but not least, you have your summative here, okay? So you need to enter your information for that one. Now this one's set up a little bit different. So you're going to look at the second thing here. It says rubric and summative part 1. So your rubric's actually attached to the first part here. Okay, so when I open up my rubric, I know that this exam, my summative, was over RI 8.2. So I'm going to go to my PDSA tracker and I'm going to find RI 8.2 here. So one thing I need to make sure I do is instead of typing it here, my results for my summative, I need to scroll down to the bottom rectangle because my summative information goes down here. Okay. So I know that I took it, let's see, on October 28th. So I'm going to add it in down here, October 28th, and I got a score of 2. I can see here that my score is number 2. Okay, so I got a score of 2. Now, I haven't retaken the test. I'm putting NA. What did I do well on? Well, when I come back here and I'm looking, I have to scroll down just a little bit, and this kind of breaks it down. So I can see I didn't do well at all on the multiple choice questions. I actually missed 5. My score for the chart that I filled out was better, but I did my best on the objective summary, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. So I'm going to put here that I understand how to write objective summaries, and that's what I'm putting for my plus section. So what did I not do well on? Well, when I go back and look, the thing I struggled with the most was really just answering the questions. I really had trouble finding the central idea, and I remember that because I was so frustrated. So here I'm putting that I missed a lot of the questions, and I know I struggled with the central idea and supporting details. Okay. So what do I want to put for my reflection? Well, whoops, I put the wrong thing. Hang on. There we go. I know I need to practice finding the central idea. I honestly think the Michael Jordan article was easier than the others. I have trouble finding the central idea in more difficult texts. I think I need to work on the supporting details as well because I think that'll help me find the central idea. I need to work on my highlighting and finding the 5 W's. So what I did here is I tried to identify what was holding me back from finding the central idea. And when I go back and I look through everything else that I put when I'm doing my reflections on the central idea from these two, I started finding that I'm missing key details. Okay, so when I'm highlighting and stuff, I was missing a lot of the details I should have been finding. And if I'm having trouble finding the key details, then I'm having trouble finding supporting details. And that's going to make me have trouble finding the central idea. So I'm starting to connect the dots here just from filling out my PDSA tracker. Okay. But now I'm done. So again, you just need to make sure you have all 5 of these listed. Okay. And 3 of these go, let's see. Yeah, 3 of these go in the same tab. So you're going to have 3 tabs filled out, but 3 of these are going to be in the same tab. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But that's it. So you have a question to answer now at the end of this video. And I also need you to go ahead and complete your PDSA tracker.